Hey guys, Kevin Smart for Awkward, Season 5, Episode 3, Jenna in Wonderland. Obviously, I was looking forward to this episode. I know a lot of people haven't really been enjoying this season, but I think I have. I think it's been interesting enough. I will say, though, this was not my favorite episode. I did enjoy this episode, but out of the 3 episodes, this is probably my least favorite. It still was a great episode. It really was. There were some really great things in it, and I really like the message in this episode, but there were a few things I wish we could have touched a little bit more upon. We get nothing with Sadie's mother, really, in this episode. I would have wanted to see more of the storyline with Sadie, Sergio, and Darlene. I was really liking where that was going. We don't get a whole lot with Tamara and Adam. We get more than we did last week with them. And also, Jake and Gabby kind of are non-existent in this episode, besides one scene. And I wish we could have gone a little bit more with that. I'm thinking we will next week. But I still thought this was a pretty solid episode. Even though it wasn't my favorite, I think it was still a great episode. Awkward's one of those shows where even if there's stuff I don't like, I still really do enjoy the episode that we got. So, we start off right off the bat. Jenna is upset. She's looking at posts about the party that she, of course, wasn't able to go to. And she kind of feels upset because, of course, she wasn't able to attend it, and she wishes that she could. And she decides to just turn off her phone because she doesn't want to hear about it, and I thought that was smart of her to do. And then she tries to get something to eat, but she stumbles upon a cupcake that Allie is having for a sex party. It's literally like a dick on the cake, which I thought was pretty funny. But Allie's having this sex party, and Lacey tells Jenna not to eat the cookie, which I thought would be the cupcake. I think it was. It was pretty funny, and I definitely enjoyed seeing that. But yeah, obviously, and then Tamara's talking with Jenna about how she started a Pinterest. For her and Adam, even though the wedding is not a real thing. That's the thing about Tamara, is that even though this isn't a real wedding, and that she doesn't really want this, and that she is planning on not marrying him, she's still putting all the effort and doing all the stuff a regular married woman would do. That's just how calculated Tamara is, and that's how specific she needs to be. And I love that about her character. That's why she's still my favorite character. Again, like I've told you guys, if I had to pick a favorite character, it would definitely be Tamara. And this is why. She's just so calculated. She does the most ridiculous things, and just the fact that she made a Pinterest, even though she has no plans on marrying Adam, I think that's really funny, and I definitely really enjoyed seeing that. However, while Tamara is talking to her, Jenna is realizing something that usually doesn't happen. Everyone is talking to her. Everyone's coming up to her. Everyone's seeing her. And Tamara basically tells Jenna that Jenna is popular. She's popular now, and that she should be happy about it. Even the Julies are talking to her. The Julies, who usually want nothing to do with Jen and Tamara, they come up to her. They try to take a selfie with Jenna. It doesn't really work out. Jenna makes them probably the most awkward face possible. And I thought that was pretty funny, and basically that's how the episode started. So I really like seeing that. I like seeing Jenna be popular, and I thought that was a pretty interesting scenario that we saw here. Meanwhile, we see that Jake and Gabby have randomly gotten together. I don't know where this came from. There really was no talks of them, officially getting together in the last episode. Like we heard them talking, but it seemed like Gabby wanted Jake to make a move, and it seemed like he did, but this just kind of felt abrupt to me. I wish they would have done a little bit more with this, because it just kind of felt out of place, and I was hoping that they would show a little bit more of this when they really didn't. Matty, in the meantime, is in a very awkward position, because he, of course, embarrassed himself at that party, and nobody's talking to him. Everyone thinks he's made a huge jerk of himself, and everyone's kind of rejecting him and things like that. And the video of him saying he's Matty fucking McKibben, there's like a video, it's gone viral. I mean, really, really bad for Matty. I mean, we've never really seen Matty in this vulnerable position. I like seeing Matty actually in this position in this episode, which we will get into that, but I thought that was very interesting. My least favorite part of this episode, though, I have to say, was Lissa's plot. I just didn't find it that interesting. I think we've had good stuff, but Lissa's plot in general didn't really fit with the rest of this episode. I felt it didn't really belong in this episode. They didn't really need to do anything. And to me, it felt like they only did this because they needed something to do with Lissa as a character. And I can understand why they did it, but I just didn't really see why we needed to have this in this episode. Basically, Sadie wants Lissa to go to Allie's sex party since she can't bring Sergio because the rule is no boys. It's supposed to be an all-girls such thing, and she wants to bring Lissa, but Lissa says that she's grounded for no reason, and her mother's all stressed out. She's, all tensed up and everything ever since her dad came out as gay. Her mom's really tense, and I can understand that. But it seemed like this belonged in a different episode. It just seemed like I didn't understand why they need to do it in this episode. But I like seeing that. I like seeing Lissa, not understanding why. And basically, Sadie says that she should go try to talk to her mom and try to figure things out. And that's what Lissa plans on doing. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Matty, I think, had the best storyline in this episode, personally. I really like what we saw with Matty. But like I said, Jenna is extremely popular at this point, and she gets invited to a party by this guy, who's very popular. I don't remember his name, but he's like a very popular kid in their school, and she's very surprised that she's actually going to, hang out with these people who she never thought she would hang out before. And, it's what Jenna's always wanted. She's always wanted to be popular. It's what Lacey's always wanted for her. It was very interesting scenario, especially because this is the final season. I like that they finally did do this. And she wants Tamara to go, but Tamara says she can't go because she has to plan out things with Adam, and Adam wants to see her, and she can't go. So basically, Jenna ends up going. Jenna plans on hanging out with her new friends. While Matty is, in the meantime, in the worst position because he's basically getting rejected by everyone, and very slowly starts to realize that the reason everyone's rejecting him is because he's now unpopular. He is the lowest of the low. He's pretty much a loser, and nobody wants to talk to him. And I think that was a very interesting scenario, and definitely something Matty obviously isn't used to, and it was very funny to watch, and I definitely like seeing that. I definitely thought that was pretty funny to watch. So Jenna tries to talk to Matty, and Matty's asking her, why didn't you try to get involved? Why didn't you try to stop me? And I like what Jenna says, that even though she wanted to be a friend, she is still the awkward ex-girlfriend. And most times when you are that ex-girlfriend, you don't really talk a lot. There are certain things that you do, but then you just don't want to get involved in certain things because obviously you're the ex-girlfriend. It's kind of awkward for you to do that. And I like that Jenna said that. I thought that was definitely pretty interesting. And she tells Matty that the ex-girlfriend perverts didn't want to get involved, and she wants to help him, and she wants to help him get through this, but she really doesn't know what to do now. So Matty now is in this really awkward position. He ends up having to go to Kyle and I think his name is Leroy. Those two, hilarious to watch. They give Matty this very long speech on how to survive being unpopular. It was very funny to watch, and you can tell that Matty this is not his style. This is not what he wants to do. He can't accept the fact that these people that are his friends aren't really his friends anymore, and I thought that was pretty funny. So Lissa goes to her mom to try to figure things out, and she starts to talk to her mom about this party, and her mom's like, oh, no, we don't talk about sex in this house, things like that. And you can just tell that her mom is under a lot of stress right now. She doesn't really want to talk. She can't even really have fun, and she's just stressing herself out constantly. And I like seeing this, but again, it just kind of fell out of place to me. And Lissa tells her that they're going to go out somewhere, and they're going to basically go, and you know what she's planning on doing. She's planning on taking her, of course, to Allie's party. That's what she plans on doing with that. So Jenna goes home to find an outfit for the party, and Lacey is over the moon that she is happy about, that Jenna is finally popular and that she can go to a party. So she gives Jenna probably the most glossy, like, very rich people clothing. Like, if you were to think of rich people, that's probably what they wear. It's like a very revealing top and things like that, and I thought that was interesting to watch. And then we find out that this sex party is actually not for Allie, it is for Lacey. Because, of course, Lacey is pregnant, and she can't really have sex, and she can't really have sex like she used to, because she's pregnant, of course, and that is also why Kevin isn't home, and I thought that was pretty funny to watch, and it's kind of something, that's totally something Allie would do. It's totally something Allie would do, and it really doesn't surprise me that Allie did that for Lacey. I thought that was pretty funny to watch, and I definitely like seeing that, especially a scene, we have a very awkward scene when the popular kids go to Jenna to drive her to where they're going, and Allie makes a huge deal. She starts making sexual comments in front of them. It was very funny, and it's about as awkward as a situation can get. I mean, that's why the show is called Awkward, because it's just awkward situation after awkward situation. I thought that was very funny, and I definitely really like watching it. I thought Allie, whenever Allie says something sexual, it's always funny, and she always does a great job with that. And I don't know if this was Allie's final appearance, but if it was, great way to go out, because she was hilarious in this episode. Also, no talk of Val. I think Val is done with the show because we didn't even hear about her. So I'm going to assume that we're not really going to see a lot more of Val. I hope we do get at least something of her before the graduation episode, because I do want to know what happened to Val, because I feel like that's very important. So Jenna goes to this party, and I like that we saw here. She's at this party, but there's nothing really happening. They're talking, but they're not really having fun. They're just kind of talking about things that Jenna's not really interested in. And I like seeing that. Even though Jenna's wanting to be popular, she's not happy right now. They're talking away at things that she just doesn't want to talk about. And the Julies are yelling at her, telling her that she's making a fool of herself and things like that. And she just doesn't really feel happy here. And Matty gets a call from who we think is Jenna. I was thinking Jenna was going to call him to be like, hey, Matty, can I hang out with you? I'm bored. But that's not who gets called by. It's from Kyle and Leroy. He gets a call from them. They take him out to this crazy rock concert where, like, he dances around a lot. It was pretty fun to watch. And they kind of show him that even though he is at the bottom of the totem pole right now, and that he is the lowest of the low in terms of popularity, that in their eyes, he is popular. He is a really great guy, and I thought that was really fun. I really like seeing that, and Kyle and Leroy, they are strange guys, but they are that was a very sweet thing they did for Matty, and I really did like seeing that, I have to say. I thought that was very fun. So we see Jenna, like I said, she's at this party. Everyone's making out. She's not really enjoying it at all. She really is very bored. She's not even making out with the guy she's with, because she just doesn't want to. That's not Jenna. She's not slutty. She's not someone that's just gonna go around and do that. She had that phase once where she was slutty, but she's not slutty. She knows who she is. She knows, what she's supposed to do and what's right and what's wrong, and she's not gonna do that. So you can tell she's feeling uncomfortable here. Lissa takes her mom to Allie's party, and her mom obviously doesn't want to be there, but her mom's able to loosen up and actually really does enjoy being there. She has a really great time. She feels very happy with herself. It was really fun to watch. I thought it was really fun. Seeing the party as a whole, I thought was really fun as well, and it was just a really fun segment. I really like seeing that. But Jenna decides to basically leave this party. She's not really happy being there, and she decides to text Tamara, and Tamara and her go on this, basically decide to hang out because she doesn't want to be with these friends. And I like that message of Jenna not wanting to be with, these popular kids just because she's not popular, and that just because they're popular doesn't mean they're nice people. It's true. Just because someone's popular doesn't necessarily mean they're a nice person. I mean, I think people in my school, there's really no one that's, I think, rude, that's popular. I think when someone classifies popular kids, it's more of just they have a lot of friends, they talk a lot, but this is straight up like popular, they're dating college guys, things like that. That's just not who Jenna is. She's not some girl that's just gonna go around and sleep with all these people like the Julies probably do. The Julies, honestly, I think are sluts. They really are. They've shown them that way. We've pretty much seen that they are sluts, and I pretty much think that the Julies are sluts. I'm sorry, I think they are. But obviously, Jenna doesn't really want to be in that crowd, and I was happy that Jenna put her foot down and said, no, I don't really want to do this, and I thought that was very smart of her. So, Matty has a great time. Jenna tries to text him to tell him, hey, can we hang out? But he's having such a great time with Kyle and Leroy, he decides to not hang out with them. Lissa's mom actually ends up having a really great time at this party, and she has a really, she understands what Lissa was trying to do, get the message across that she needed to have more fun and needed to not be as stressed out. I thought that was fun to see, but again, the storyline, in my opinion, just felt kind of pointless. I felt like they could have done more with Allie's sex party. They really didn't do much with it. They really didn't. I mean, we saw what it was like, but there really wasn't much they did with it. I did think it was funny when they were questioning Sadie about Sergio, and they're like, does Sergio ever pressure you? And Sadie's like, no, when I let him. I thought that was pretty funny that Sadie said that, and Other than that, though, I didn't really feel I did too much with it, and I wish they would have done more of it, especially because it's Aunt Allie. You'd think they would have done more of it, but in terms of Sadie being there, they didn't really do too much with it. It focused mainly on Lissa, and a story that I felt was honestly kind of pointless. But the ending, I really do like when Jen and Tamara are talking, and she tells Tamara to take a picture of them smiling, and that Jen is happy that she is with friends that truly care about her, and that she doesn't need to be with this popular group. It was a nice message overall, and I overall really did enjoy it. I just kind of felt this episode was kind of filler. There really wasn't much to it. They could have done more with it, and there were certain storylines they just kind of forgot about. Not really much going on with Jake and Gabby. They're suddenly together. I just wasn't the hugest fan of this episode. And that's rare for me to say I don't like this episode of Awkward. You know, the only time I really haven't liked an Awkward episode is the Eva Amber arc, which just fell apart for me altogether. I really hated that storyline. But this episode, I don't know, I just really wasn't that into it. I wish I would have been a bit more into it, but I wasn't. I liked the Lissa storyline. I thought it was cool what they did there, but there really wasn't too much going on in terms of, story progression. There really wasn't much going on there. Yeah, we do have this whole Matty thing, and I don't think that's going to last very long. It is going to be interesting to see. Matty and Jenna definitely do seem like they're getting closer and that Jenna is caring more about Matty. But what I like about Jenna is that she still sees Matty as a friend. Even though Matty is unpopular, she still sees him as a friend. I think Jenna is still going to be popular, but she's not going to hang out with all these people. We'll have to see what happens with that. I love seeing Tamara prepare for a wedding, even though she doesn't want to actually be in it. I think that's pretty funny. But overall, I just found this episode kind of just filler, and that it was an idea that I think the creators had that they wanted to do for this final season, so they did it, and it was a cool idea, but I just didn't feel that it had much to do with this season. It just kind of felt like a filler episode, which I'm fine with, but I just didn't feel like this was the episode to do that, this, especially in terms of two episodes that have been very plot heavy and had a lot happening, and this episode really didn't. I wish they could have done more with it. But let me know what you guys thought of this episode. I overall thought this episode was just okay, not really much to say about it. Sorry this review was shorter. I really don't have too much to say. I wish I had much more to say about this episode, but I really don't have a lot to say about it. But that's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Overall, guys, I thought this episode was good. Not my favorite. I have definitely seen better Awkward episodes, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for a movie review, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.